Jim, let's move on here with the show, if that is indeed possible. I have a list here. I have a list that was compiled by...
I'm out of breath.
I have a list that was compiled by Bleacher Report.
Oh, good Lord.
The top 20 WWE and AEW stars in their 20s. A lot of listeners sent over this link. They wanted to get your thoughts on this list, and if you think it's fair, right, wrong, indifferent.
Indifferent. I have a pen now to jot down notes.
Number 20. Hook.
Well, he fits. He's 20-something years old.
26 years old, and of course a 3-time former FTW champion.
Okay. I'm going to have to see the other 19 before I got to see where this list is to determine whether or not he should have made a top 20. But geez, oh, Pete, besides the long extended absences for reasons that we don't know, he's still doing kind of the same thing he was doing 5 years ago, isn't he?
But Jim, number 19 on the list, a former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion on 2 occasions, the 28-year-old Kevin Knight from Jet Speed.
Okay, well, yeah, I remember him. He's Hong Kong Phooey's partner. I can believe this. He's 20, whatever the fuck years old you just said. And he's got potential. He's athletic. He's got a personality. He's stuck with Ricky Steamboat's daughter as a tag team partner and in a tag team roster and booking situation that is just meaningless. But he got potential.
Here's an interesting one at number 18, a former 2-time U.S. champion, a former SmackDown Tag Champion, and a former Money in the Bank winner, the 28-year-old Austin Theory.
Where is he?
The description here on Bleacher Report, it is an indictment of Triple H and his creative regime that Theory does not rank higher on the list. It doesn't say where he is, though.
Well, here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that it's an indictment of Austin Theory that he must be just a heat-getting son of a bitch or some kind of complete fucking moron. Because as good as he looks, as impeccable as the technical part of his work was in the ring, with the timing and the athletic ability he had of bumping and selling and feeding and offense and etc., if they haven't not only been able to teach him how to be one of the top in-ring fucking performers in the business today psychologically in the last 5 years, he must be just what's wrong with him? That's what we got to find out. Is he just piss everybody off around him? Or is he just incapable of getting the thought process? Because I would put, as far as young guys in the business, for every attribute that you could possibly have physically, appearance-wise, performance-wise, he and Bron Breakker are it. And Bron's where he is, and where the fuck is Theory at? So there's got to be, I've never met the kid, so there's got to be something happening that they ain't using him.
If he was just hurt, or if there was another reason other than, him being so bad that they don't want to use him, they use some bad people, would you consider him someone that you would put with Paul Heyman in the Vision?
Well, yes, because it's tailor-made, except he and Braun might collide, not really professionally, but they might draw attention away from each other. You want to make these guys the center of attention of a group, but not just stand on their own at the start. But I'm not saying that Austin Theory has some kind of goddamn, criminal history of being a mad arsonist or something, of can't get into other countries, or is something wrong with him in that respect. I'm saying He's either got to be, he ain't getting what they're wanting him to do, or he's a heat magnet that just pisses everybody off, because even going back when they were still using him, Vince loved him and with the egg and all of the whole thing. But once Vince was gone, they demoted him all the way down the ladder. Is it heat with Triple H personally or with a wide circle of people? Or is it that, that for some reason he gets that heat? But this is a guy that for the past 3 years, they should have been grooming to be the same thing they're doing with Braun right now, unless there's something going on we don't know about. I would love input from anybody who has feedback on this.
Yeah, it's definitely a long way down from beating John Cena at WrestleMania. But Jim, number 17, and I don't even know if you'll have much to say about 16, but number 17, 28 years old, NXT Women's Champion, or at least that's one of her accomplishments, Tatum Paxley, followed by 16.
Well, wait a minute. I remember Tatum Paxley in Paper Moon with Ryan O'Neal.
That was Tatum O'Neal, actually.
Oh.
Very talented, incredibly talented child actress. But Tatum Paxley, 28, and followed by JC Jane, 29 years old. She has in the past won the Women's Tag Championship at NXT, the TNA Knockouts Championship, Tag Championship twice, and the Women's Championship.
Good for her. She never gives up.
At number 15, Jim, 29 years old, former AEW World Trios Champion, 3-time Ring of Honor Pure Champion, Wheeler Yuta.
Oh, good Lord. I don't know what to tell you. When the developmental program was in its infancy 20-something years ago, we had 25 guys on the roster at a training school that had a better look, could cut a better promo, had better physique, was in better overall working shape, and could run circles around Wheeler Yuta. I'm sorry, he's every indie guy that's not, they like him. He's a nice guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but no. And at the same point, when Kyle came in, we've talked about him. He has gained in size. He's worked on his physique. Even though he's kind of dressing up like a cross between the Grand Wizard and superstar Billy Graham, he's just all over the place. At least he's done something. Yuta and Garcia look the same as they did physically, do the same shit in the ring. Yuta's grown his hair longer. And they've done no work on their presentation.
Jim at number 14, 27 years old, a former TNT champion and Ring of Honor Pure champion, Daniel Garcia.
Okay, well, there you go.
At number 13, Jim, her accomplishments include an AEW Women's Championship, the Owen Hart Classic winner in 2024, and the NXT Women's North American Champion, which I believe, championship, I should say, which I believe she currently holds. 27 years old, Blake Monroe.
That's Mariah May.
Mariah May.
Well, there you go.
She may not hold on to her name. Yes.
The jury is out on if she improves, how quickly she improves now that she's in this system. But so far, of the other girls on the list, I would have Blake Monroe here. Yes.
At number 12, his accomplishment is the Wrestling Observer Rookie of the Year for 2024.
Oh, Christ.
Does it have his age here? Hold on. 21 years old, Javon Evans.
Okay, Javon Evans. I've said before when we talked about his matches the last few weeks, what I would do with him. I would make him the guy that does the dives over the top to the floor and the crazy shit off the top rope, so that it would stand out and focus on him and Get him to settle down just a little bit. Don't rush. Get the maximum effort out of all the shit that he can do. But, he's a wonderful underdog type babyface that can do the springy things, the bouncy things.
He is so far the youngest person on this list, so that's another thing.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you what. Unfortunately, I talked about the OVW roster earlier. This would be old for the developmental rosters that we had from 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody talks about the class of 2001. Jesus Christ. They're either not starting as quick these days or it's taking them longer.
At number 11, two-time AAA Mega Champion, two-time AAA World Trios Champion, and the 2019 Copa Antonio Pena winner, 28-year-old El Hijo del Vikingo.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well, so far, except for Kevin Knight and Blake Monroe and obviously Austin Theory, well, and Javon Evans. So we got 4 and we're down to the top 12 or whatever. These people are all interchangeable because I wouldn't really be particularly interested in any of them.
At number 10, Jim, 26 years old, WWE Women's Championship, NXT Women's Championship, Money in the Bank winner 2024, Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany, okay, we got a star there. She's achieved that level. So yes. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4 people I'd take. And Kevin Knight, he's got potential.
At number 9, a former AEW TNT champion, a former AEW World Tag Team champion, and a former FTW champion, 28 years old, Jungle Jack Perry.
Oh, boy. Well, I wonder if he's got a career to fall back on. Didn't somebody say he's making knives now?
Someone said something like he's a welder, or I don't know what the hell he does.
Well,
he's had a lot of spare time. I mean, he may do a lot of things.
Hopefully he'll pursue that.
Beyond like all the drama that he caused and everything else, just in terms of his career, this list 5 years ago when he was 23, it wouldn't have been unreasonable. Is he better off today than he was then? Has he gained 10 pounds today that he didn't have then? So I don't know if he's
doing the same thing today with the same tag team partner that he was 5 years ago. He's exactly the same size, and now he's just got a bunch of the fans mad at him because they blame him for losing the biggest star in the company.
Jim at number 8, 23 years old, a former WWE Women's Tag Team Champion. I think former. I'm not sure actually. Well, she's held it. Also, the NXT Women's Championship on 2 occasions, the Women's Tag Team Championship in NXT, and, I didn't know this, the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight, the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship, 23 years old, Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light.
She was the first Ring of Honor Women's Champion. I actually did not know that.
They ought to, as a rib, they ought to make the women all call it the Women's World or Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. I would take Roxanne. She's a perky little thing. So we got 6 on this list so far that can go somewhere.
At number 7, 29 years old, 3-time TNA Knockouts champion, TNA Digital Media Championship.
Oh, Christ.
And the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championship. All accomplishments for Jordynne Grace.
Have we seen her wrestle yet? Did we see her on one show?
I believe we saw her in back-to-back Royal Rumbles, and then I think she can't. Is she just in NXT?
No, she was refereeing. She was the referee in that NXT show we watched here a while back. I don't know how her work is. I know she got quite of a snit at me when I called her a butterface a number of years ago. Yeah. Well, I also remember I trended on Twitter because I called her a butterface. That's when she was a little chubby, and then she's got on the sauce and leaned up for the bodybuilding thing. I don't know. She's starting to get that Nicole Bass voice because they actually the fans clip videos and put it side by side up on Twitter. Where 10 years ago she sounded like Cindy Brady. Now she sounds like Lurch. But I don't know how her work is, so I can't really commentate.
All right, you rang. Jim, number 6. This man is 27 years old. He's held the NXT Championship and the NXT North American Championship. Obafemi.
Okay, remember we watched a show a while back. He was on it. And I was like, why the fuck is he putting on the Nigerian accent? And that killed it for me. But he's got size and charisma and etc. So he's a legitimate list maker, I would think. So we got 7.
He is Nigerian, although I think we both saw audio or video of him talking where he did not have such a pronounced accent. Yeah.
He's a putting it on. That's what he's doing.
Well, Jim, we have now cracked the top 5. At number 5.
Cracked is a good word for that.
2-time NXT champion, NXT Tag Team Championship title holder, and 2-time Intercontinental champion, 28 years old, Braun Breaker.
This is not number 1.
Number 5.
What fucking psychedelic drugs are they on over at are they drinking the bleach or just reporting on it?
It's Bleacher Report, not Bleach Report. They're not drinking bleach.
What do bleachers use to bleach with? Bleach.
What?
Those fumes will goddamn affect you. See, think about that. They're there all day over a big tub of bleaching things.
Well, look, obviously they see things this way, but number 5, Braun Breaker, 28 years old. Certainly not someone inhaling bleach. And certainly someone who has exhausted Jim's comments about him today.
What more can I say? Oh my God, the taste of his semen is remarkable. It's like a caviar. I'd love to lick his taint. What else can I say about the fucking guy?
You know, I could have just said
more
nothing.
Comments?
I don't know what you just said, but that triggered something. Jim, number 4. 29 years old. Former AEW World Champion, former AEW International Champion, former Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion, and 5-time Dynamite Diamond Ring winner, MJF.
MJF, how old is he now?
29.
He just right to see. Hey, one more year and we can't trust him. Never trust anybody over 30, right?
Well, kids say that. I mean, when you get older, you don't say that.
Well, I was always told that when I was young. That's why I haven't trusted myself in over 30 years. Obviously, MJF belongs on the list, but God bless America, he needs to get the fuck out of there before they grind him to dust. He's a talent that every time he's off television, I keep hoping that something will happen where when he comes back, he can kind of recapture what he had before they just fucking ruined it all. But I think it's going to be a new environment at some point, or he'll just stay in Hollywood. But he's got as good as he's going to get in this company. And it's been a while ago.
AEW has had his 20s. I'd like to think that WWE more than likely will have his 30s because he's an ambitious guy. The one thing Tony could do is throw money at him. But with WWE, you'll get money if you're a main guy, but also the opportunities that could open up.
To be as good as you can be, to take a tagline from the Marines commercials or whatever they were in the old days. Yeah, there you go. Well, Air Force, Marines, they're all recruiting.
Part of the armed services. But Jim, number 3 on this list, 26 years old, AEW TNT Championship, Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship, Ring of Honor World Television Championship, Kyle Fletcher.
Okay, have you noticed everybody that works for Tony has had multiple titles in like the last 2? Kyle definitely deserves to be on this list above Braun Breaker. Well, nobody deserves to be above Braun Breaker. I think, honestly, Kyle might be in the number 2 position here right now, since Austin Theory is MIA and MJF has been booked into insensibility. And that's why it's all the more frustrating to me that Kyle is where he is, because as I've said many times, so I won't belabor it, he's going to learn a lot of stupid things that nobody will be there to tell him are stupid, and he's not going to progress like he could if he was around some structure.
I don't disagree with you, but I do think he may be someone who can learn quickly when he goes to a new place.
Oh, well, see, that's the thing. Quick learners are easier to fuck up. Teach them the wrong way to do it, and then it's harder to figure out how not to do it and do the other thing.
Well, Jim, that was number 3. We are now down to the final 2.
I'd like to see the 2 that are going to top Braun Breaker and Kyle Fletcher.
At number 2, 28 years old, Intercontinental Championship, NXT North American Championship on 2 occasions, and SmackDown Tag Team Championship, all won by Dominic Mysterio.
Oh, Cinderella story. Out of nowhere, Dominic is ahead. Dominic is ahead of everybody in terms of experience here. Braun still has to be number 1 because he's just generational, but Dominic, for his success, he's not as talented verbally, maybe even in the ring technically as MJF is, but he's had the booking and he's gotten more and more over instead of less and less over because he's been in the right place. And all 3 of those guys are way ahead of Kyle. So Dominic comes in at number 2.
All right, Jim. Well, number 1 on this list, and so far you've said
Who the fuck would that be?
You have said Braun Breaker would be your number 1. 29 years old, a Raw Women's Champion, Women's World Champion on 2 occasions, NXT Women's Champion, NXT UK Women's Champion, a WWE World Tag Team Champion, and the winner of the 2023 Royal Rumble, Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley. Okay, as soon as you said Women's Champion, I was, God, Jesus Christ. But I forgot that Rhea's still a young spring chicken. She's still got to be number 2 because Braun is number 1. But goddamn, there's no better female wrestler in the world that combines all the tools necessary, the look, the promo, the size, the working ability, and the psychology that she shows in her matches. So she has to be number 2 only because Braun Breaker is going to be the biggest star in the business over the next 3 to 5 years. But I'll make them 1 and 2.
You know, it's interesting too. We've gone over a list like this several times over the last 5 years, 6 years. And over the last several years, MJF and Rhea Ripley are like always at the very top. And next year, neither of them will be on this list because they'll be 30. Javon Evans was 21. The other youngest guys were what? Roxanne Perez was 23, and then we had a few people who were 26. A few years ago, you would have had a younger, I mean, again, the same people. A lot of the same people were on this list. It was a younger list. We'll see who comes up next, but
humor me a second because I wasn't prepared for this and I don't have I don't think reference material. No, maybe I do, but you can help me. Hold on here.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Here.
Oh, thank you.
We've got 20 guys and girls that are in their 20s in the entire mainstream wrestling business, right? That they've listed here.
Right.
I'm just going back to a big card in Mid-South Wrestling in 1984. And just a quick glance at, I think almost certainly 60% of the goddamn card will be in their 20s. Let me just pick something that is in the middle of the summer Superdome. And you might need to help me out on some of these because this is 1984. Robert Gibson was born in 1958. So Robert was like 25, 26. Ricky Morton, this was
holy shit,
41 years ago. So he was only 26, 7. The Midnight Express, Dennis Condrey was 32. Bobby was 26. Hercules Hernandez wasn't out of his 20s. Mr. Wrestling 2 was old enough for two different people, but Princess Victoria and Velvet McIntyre and Wendy Richter and Peggy Lee it shouldn't really count. They weren't regulars, but they were in their 30s or 20s. Chris Adams, was he yet 30 years old? Jimmy Garvin was 18 years old in 1973, so he was 29. Precious, Terry Taylor, he was mid-20s.
I just looked that one up. I was blown away to see he's 70 years old now. He was born in 55.
Who?
Terry Taylor.
Terry Taylor. Really? So he was 29 there. Son of a gun.
Seeing that he's 70.
Still in his 20s.
I just seen that he was 70. I guess I just didn't expect that. Wow.
Well, he turned pro in 77 or 78. What about Magnum?
Let me look up Magnum. Jim Duggan turned 30 in 84.
Yeah, and he actually wasn't on his card. This was when he was why wasn't he on that card? I don't know, but nevertheless.
Magnum was born in 59.
Okay, Magnum was 25. Ted DiBiase. Was Teddy in his early 30s by that point?
JYD was. Ted DiBiase was born in 54. He turned 30 in 84.
Okay, well, depending on what month, he was still only 29. Buddy Landell was 24, I think, 25. Sonny King, obviously in his 40s. JYD, early 30s. Butch Reed. Was he 30 yet?
Butch Reed turned 30 in July of 1984.
So this is June, so he's still 29. That's the point of a Superdome card. There were 3 guys out of their 20s. And I was 22. So it wasn't that unusual back then because guys got started earlier and they got more experience quicker. And now this is the cream of the crop of people in their 20s in the entire mainstream business, and most of them are in their late 20s.
Well, that was our look at wrestlers, the top 20 in their 20s here in 2025, the end of 2025. Jim, a wrestling fan may see that list and say, I want to sue.
Well, I'll tell you exactly who to call. He's an old son of a bitch, but he'll get it right because he's got experience. Play the music.
Call Stephen P. News. If you need to sue. An outlaw mud show or two. He'll sue the rest.
Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen P. New at newlawoffice.com. 877-50-STEVE. You know, Brian, Steve is He's decided to continue his practice even though he reached the retirement age of 65. He's going on. He'll never quit because he loves representing the poor, the downtrodden, and the disheartened. And if you're poor, he's still going to represent you because he'll just get even with the other son of a bitch you're mad at and get money from him. 877-50-STEVE, the number to call. He's old, but he's good.
He's not that old. I don't know where that came from. He's normal.
Oh, he's so old. When he was in school, they didn't have history. Didn't you hear about his mother? She charged the like brigade.
All right, well, can we leave him alone? I don't know why you're picking on him here, but...
His birth certificate was chiseled into granite.
NewLawOffice.com, one of those newfangled websites.